Pokémon Legends ZA. Man, I'm excited. But you know what I'm most excited for this game? The potential for Mega Evolutions. New ones. Hi you, King here. And Pokemon Legends was great, but Pokemon Legends ZA, I theorize, is going to be even greater in terms of introducing us to new Mega Evolutions. That's what I most loved about Pokemon X and Y, was the introduction of that concept, taking a little bit of inspiration from Digimon, and I really didn't like how they discontinued it for like Z moves, which I get it, each generation should have their own thing, and I do love some of the Z moves introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I really wanted the Pokemons who didn't get Mega Evolutions, who I felt should have, a chance to show off what they got. So I thought I'd make a couple of videos, each one focusing on a generation's Pokemon, potential Mega Evolutions, what they could look like and be like, starting off with Gen 1 in this video. Starting with Arbok, a poison snake type Pokemon who I felt was dirty by having them pair up with Team Rocket in the cartoon/anime, because that only had us see them in a bad light of them always getting defeated. So I feel by giving him a Mega Evolution, it would make him more appealing and have people have more interest in him, especially if that Mega Evolution is part Dragon type or part Ghost type. By the way, all the amazing Pokemon Mega Evolution art that you're about to see were done by amazing Pokemon artists, for which their work you can find easily on Google or their various social media platforms. So go check them out and support them. But before you do that, we move on to Persian, a Pokemon that's the evolved version of Meowth that always looks ready to scrap. I always thought it'd be cool to see more of this Pokemon in action, because every time we do see him in action, he never disappoints. And a Mega Evolved Persian will most likely be part Dark type, since it gives off an ominous, intimidating aura when it's serious. But this could also mean it could have a thief-inspired look for its Mega Evolution. Next Pokemon I would want to have a Mega Evolution would be Golduck, because I always loved how the dumb-looking Psyduck, who people always underestimate, would evolve into this most impressive Pokemon, Golduck. And I would love if its Mega Evolution did make him look gold to kind of live up more to the name, because I always felt it was weird that his name was Golduck, but he turns blue. Next up, I would want Snorlax to get a Mega Evolution, because Snorlax is a really cool Pokemon when he's not sleeping all the time, and with him having all that weight, it would be cool if his Mega Evolution made him more of a fighting type and kind of gave him an imposing presence like a sumo wrestler. Up next would be Butterfree, and I know Butterfree was one of the Pokemon that got a Gigantamax form, which is really cool. Made him like Mothra from like the Godzilla lore, but I would want Butterfree to also have a Mega Evolution, because I always loved Butterfree from the anime/cartoon, and I want Butterfree to have more chances to shine. And the next two on this list would be Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, because both are amazing fighting Pokemon that always get brought back every generation, because at least to me, I don't feel like there's that many fighting types, and Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan both come from the same Pokemon. But I feel they do drastically take departures, with Hitmonlee focusing on kicks and Hitmonchan focusing on punches, that if they were to both gain Mega Evolutions, it'd be awesome if they became both fighting and steel type, and Hitmonchan would like have a boost in his punching potential, while Hitmonlee gained a boost in his kicking one. Following those two fighters would be Dragonite, a dragon Pokemon that I would definitely love to see more from, and giving him a Mega Evolution would definitely be the more I'm looking for. And it'd be awesome if his Mega Evolution made him look more like his previous evolutions, because people oftentimes don't think Dragonite is related to Dragonair or Dratini because of how different he looks. And Lapras, an OG classic that everyone loves, but I always felt bad for, just like the other Pokemon who don't have an evolutionary line and just the one form. So more than anything, I would want Lapras to have a Mega Evolution, so when Pokemon fans look at him, they can just be like, oh, and that's not all, he also has a Mega Evolution. And well, that about does it for the Pokemon in Gen 1 that I would want to have a Mega Evolution, but there is a bonus Pokemon. And the reason he's a bonus is his third evolutionary form came down the line in another generation. I'm talking about Magnezone. And Magnezone is a Pokemon that I would want to have a Mega Evolution, because he's already a cool Pokemon, and cool looking Pokemon's Mega Evolution oftentimes make them look even more cooler, more badass, more awesome. So I would want Magnezone to have a Mega Evolution just to be even more impressive than he already is. Pokemon's Legend ZA Mega Evolutions, Episode 2 for Generations 2. But without further ado, let's start with Typhlosion. I feel Typhlosion could have a hot, epic Mega Evolution, having it look very explosive to fit his name. Making Typhlosion look both heated and fierce at the same time, it would definitely put him more on Pokemon fans' radar. Then we have for Alligator. I would love for Alligator, who already looks like a Godzilla type Pokemon, to have a Mega Evolution that makes him look even more like Godzilla, like more like a giant dinosaur. Though we're not talking about Gigantamaxing, and I wouldn't want him to get that much bigger, but it'd be awesome if he had more scales and more armor around his body, just to show that, yeah, he was already ready for a scrap. Now he's ready to just beat down the opponent's Pokemon, like a underwater tank on ground. And next up, of course, is Meganium, and I would love it if Meganium's Mega Evolution made her look not just more elegant and pretty, but also dangerous, like those types of flowers that draws you in with how, you know, beautiful and colorful it looks, but then ends up being poisonous, showing you that you can't just judge a book by its cover, that it's something is ominous about this Pokemon that you wouldn't want to like actually be messing with. But you know, just because Mega Evolution's temporary, you could have Meganium evolve into this form to show off like, no, this is a dangerous Pokemon you do not want to mess with. Then we have Wobbuffet, because I thought Wobbuffet as a mascot for Team Rocket was pretty funny, and it was also pretty cool that Wobbuffet's whole thing was Mirror Coat, that he could reflect most attacks coming his way. I feel like Wobbuffet was always just a standout character that could have been used more, and I would love it if Wobbuffet had a Mega Evolution that just, you know, made him more serious, more badass, because he is a good Pokemon, but I feel like he's lacking in the cool factor. Next up after that is Ursaring, and I would love Ursaring to have a Mega Evolution that just brings out the girth in him, you know, just makes him even more huge and ready to tussle. Like, Ursaring is already a combative Pokemon that can take down, you know, the best of the best if well trained, but I would love a Mega Evolution that would be like his ace in the hole. Like, if Ursaring is, you know, getting beaten down by an even stronger Pokemon, you pull out this Mega Evolution, and not only would he look tougher, but he would be tougher, being able to just whack down on the Pokemon that was putting the beat down on him earlier. Continuing on, we have Magcargo, the Burning Slug Pokemon. It's like, Magcargo, you know, is already a cool looking Pokemon. I like the design, you know, it's a snail made out of lava and rock, but it would be even cooler if his Mega Evolution made him more like a weapon, like a snail that is made out of lava and rock now is also some type of cannon or something. I don't know, the idea is there, and I would just like them to explore it and, you know, just try it out. You know, like, a lot of Pokemon got Mega Evolutions that I felt like, I don't know if that Pokemon warranted a Mega Evolution. You could say the same thing with Magcargo, but I would like to see it. Now, the next one you can say the same thing with, on whether it's even warranted a Mega Evolution. And I feel just like I felt in the last episode with Lapras, that this one, you know, it sucks that even though it's a cool Pokemon, a very fun Pokemon, it only has the one form in its evolutionary line. And I feel it'd be awesome just to give him a second form through Mega Evolution, just so, you know, more Pokemon fans could be, you know, interested in getting him and having him on their team. Delibird, you know, gives off heavy Santa Claus vibes, so it'd be cool if his Mega Evolution made him part ice type, and also just made him look more like Santa Claus. I feel like that would be cool and creative, as well as cute and fun. But yeah, give Delibird a Mega Evolution. As well as Ambipom. Ambipom was one of the funnest Pokemon. Like, I love his pre-evolved form more, but still, giving him an extra hand and his current evolutionary form was also pretty fun, and made him that much more, you know, random and unpredictable in battle. But I would love if Ambipom's Mega Evolution just added to it and gave him like either a third tail hand, or, you know, times it by 2 and just made him have 4 tail hands, just to really show what he can do in a fight with those hands going rapid, just punching his opponent's Pokemon like crazy. And just imagine the movements, the style. If Ambipom was brought into a Pokemon contest, just the dancing and the flair and the, you know, the theatrics. But yeah, I feel like Ambipom would just have like a fun and creative Mega Evolution. But that's just me. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. And we're not done yet, because we have next up Celebi. Celebi being a legendary, I feel it would be awesome if Celebi had a Mega Evolution. I always thought, you know, it's a shame that only a few legendary Pokemon have Mega Evolutions. You should start giving most of them Mega Evolutions like Celebi. Celebi is cute, powerful, it's very whimsical. I feel like his Mega Evolution should just embody those traits, you know, boosting it up even more. And, you know, his Mega Evolution could make him faster, like Rayquaza's Mega Evolution. Yeah, it's just a thought. Again, tell me what you think about that in the comments. And the two bonus Pokemon to end this video off that I would love to see get Mega Evolutions. The first one is Magmortar. Magmortar is already a tough Pokemon, but give him a Mega Evolution and could damn well be unbeatable. The fire and destruction that Magmortar already puts into his attacks, because he has two cannon-like arms, could even be that much more powerful and that much more destructive if given a Mega Evolution, sort of like Blastoise with his cannons. And the second one would be Electivire. With Electivire being really strong and his punches bringing the shock, and he has two tails blindsiding you if you're not being cautious while battling him. So imagine this already powerhouse of a Pokemon having a Mega Evolution. It would probably double his electrical output, while also boosting up his agility and strength to make him that much more of a fierce fighter in battle. Pokemon's Legend ZA Mega Evolutions, Episode 3 for Generation 3. Let's start. With Roserade. This elegant Pokemon is definitely brilliant in Pokemon contests, but imagine it in a Pokemon battle with a Mega Evolution to add more ferocity to its beautiful moves. It would definitely be the perfect combination of style, grace, and deadliness. Now we move on to Torkoal. And this Pokemon's already heated for battle, but imagine its Mega Evolution giving it more explosive volcanic power, turning that shell on its back into a freaking geyser of fire. With Torkoal already bringing the smoke, with a Mega Evolution, he'll be bringing the blazing burns as well. And after that is Grumpig, who brings cuteness and moxie in one powerful psychic package. Now, let me ask you, what would a Grumpig Mega Evolution look like? It'd probably add more cuteness and moxie, having him rely mainly on, having the form's looks rely mainly on its tails and gems. Probably get more gems, probably get more psychic power, and honestly, it would be even more crazy the psychic ability he'll be able to pull off. I'm just saying, give Grumpig that Mega Evolution chance to get a Mega Evolution battle that is going to be Mega Evolved action. We then go to the beautiful, the gorgeous, the dazzling Milotic. Queen of the Sea, in my opinion. Now give that Sea Serpent a Mega Evolution, and we'll get a form like we've never seen. Beautiful, even more beautiful now. Dazzling, even more dazzling now. And you know it'll be rocking more powerful water-type moves. Honestly, I'm surprised Milotic wasn't one of the Pokemon who already got a Mega Evolution. I was like, what? Milotic didn't? Well, better luck next time, which better happen in Legend ZA. And for those watching this, comment down Milotic if you would also want to see Milotic finally get a Mega Evolution. And another Pokemon that I really want to see get a Mega Evolution is Delcatty. Because if we're talking about style and grace, Delcatty has it in spades. Very agile, quick, and amazing in Pokemon contests. Now, I'm not looking for a crazy out there Mega Evolution for Delcatty. It's probably going to be sweet and simple, which, is cool. A boost in power and just a new look is, what some Pokemon just deserve. Like, Delcatty is a very cool, normal type Pokemon. I feel like it just deserves a cool, normal type Mega Evolution that will still, at least put it more on Pokemon fans' radar being that, more is being done with it. We then move on to Flygon, and Flygon is a super cool bug type Pokemon. So cool, in fact, that if I was in the Pokemon world, Flygon would definitely be one of my companions because I would love traversing the various regions on its back. Whether it's soaring over the seas or flying through various trees and canyons, Flygon is definitely one of the best travel companions. Now imagine this awesome Pokemon, but with a Mega Evolution. Honestly, I just gotta say, enough said. But I'll say a little bit more. It would definitely give Flygon extra oomph in battle because Flygon is already a powerful attacker, but imagine a Mega Evolution giving its Hyper Beam that more power and destructive capability. Now, enough said. Because now we gotta talk about a Mega Evolution for Cacturne. Cacturne is super cool. Like, I know Cacturne didn't really have much in the overall series of Pokemon, but when he was introduced and whenever he was shown, I felt like Cacturne could have been like an edgelord of Pokemon. He gave me the same grim, cool style look of like Darkrai, and Darkrai is like up there. Like, he's a legendary for a reason, and honestly, I just want to see more of Cacturne, so I feel like giving him a Mega Evolution would put him more on Pokemon fans' radar, have people talk more about him, hopefully have him used in more, Pokemon video games and anime stories. So yeah, give Cacturne a Mega Evolution, make him look even more like an edgelord, more like Darkrai. Just, yeah, I would definitely have Cacturne on my Pokemon team. Next is Crawdon, a brawler of a water Pokemon. And yeah, Crawdon is very cool. I love the star on his forehead. He's giving me heavy Pokemon Marine vibes. And yeah, seeing him with a Mega Evolution, he's just gonna have a tougher shell. He's gonna probably be even more suited to brawling and battling other tough Pokemon. His claws are probably gonna get much bigger, much stronger, maybe sharper, who knows. I just feel like Crawdon definitely deserves a Mega Evolution and probably would have a really cool, tough looking Mega Evolution. And after Crawdon, we have Survivor. And Survivor is a Pokemon, one of the few in the overall series that doesn't have an evolutionary line. It's just Survivor. If you got Survivor, you're only getting that form. And true, you can raise Survivor to be very, very strong. You could make your Survivor the strongest, but it'll still only ever be a Survivor. So I would love to see more from this Pokemon. I would love for them to give him a Mega Evolution. So, if you have a really strong bond with your Survivor, if you're a Survivor trainer, then you get rewarded for that by having your Survivor evolve into an even stronger version of itself. I mean, it'll still even be called a Survivor, but it'll just be called Mega Survivor. So yeah, give Survivor a Mega Evolution, make this deadly, poisonous Pokemon even deadlier and more poisonous, and just reward Survivor trainers and Survivor fans. And last up on this list is Deoxys, the alien Pokemon. Because out of all of the legendaries, I always found Deoxys to be the most interesting. I mean, it's a literal Pokemon that was born in outer space from germs and stuff being bonded together to a radiated crystal or something like that. That is a cool origin. Deoxys is a cool Pokemon. I mean, especially because it has so many different forms that it can transform into to increase its battle stats. So giving a Pokemon like that a Mega Evolution, I mean, are you crazy? Am I nuts for saying this? Well, call me Bizarro, because I definitely feel that everyone would be rocking with a Mega Deoxys, especially if it has a Y and a X Mega Evolution, part Charizard and Mewtwo have 2 types of Mega Evolution. Give Deoxys 2 types of Mega Evolutions. That would be epic. And bring Deoxys back for more stories. Give it a Mega Evolution to use in those stories. Honestly, I just want to see more Deoxys, and I feel like giving it a Mega Evolution is how we'll get more of that. Welcome back to Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Evolutions, Episode 4 for Generation 4. So without further ado, let's start with the starters of this generation, with the fire starter being first, Infernape. Infernape is an impressive combative Pokemon with amazing, destructive firepower that only gets hotter the more heated he is in battle. So imagine this hot-headed Pokemon that's already a really good fighter getting a Mega Evolution. Forgive the epic way a Mega Infernape would look. his punches and kicks would hit that much harder and quicker and deal that much more fiery damage. But getting back to how it would look, since that is a big factor in Mega Evolution, I believe it would get a lot of its inspiration for its look from the myth of the Monkey King Son Wukong, making Mega Infernape look not just powerful but also regal. We then move on to a Mega Evolution for Torterra, who's already a heavyweight powerful Pokemon. I feel his Mega Evolution would simply make him bigger, more powerful in his weight class, and giving him that much more stronger grass type moves. And maybe having his, instead of his shell look like land, his whole body would look like a planet, kind of getting inspirations from the turtle that is like the entire universe. I know that sounds weird, but you should check it out, Google search that, and you'll kind of get what I'm getting at. Next we have Empoleon, and I feel a Mega Evolution would just make him an even stronger water steel type, because having him become a steel type did make him more of an impressive fighter, but I feel like his Mega Evolution would make him even more of a deadlier combatant, with his fins becoming more like claws, like blades, where he can slash attack more easily, and he'll be able to jump even higher and move even quicker to deal that much more damage and get into range that much more quicker. So I feel a Mega Empoleon would just have that much more of an easier time in combat, because his body would become that much more quicker and stronger to allow for greater possibilities for attacks. And I guess you can say that's kind of the case with most Mega Evolutions, but I feel like Empoleon's would be more geared towards that. Moving on, we now have Gliscor. I feel Gliscor's Mega Evolution would be more centered towards it being able to fly instead of having to rely on wind currents, making Gliscor possibly a true flying type. And its claws would possibly get that much more sharper and bigger, same with its stinger, making it that much more deadlier. Up next, Floatzel. I really like how this Pokemon looks already, and honestly, I feel like it doesn't really need a Mega Evolution, but still, because of how much I do like this Pokemon, I figure, what the heck, give it a Mega Evolution, make it even look that much more cooler, and make it that much more impressive in the water. And a Mega Evolution for a Floatzel could look any type of way, but as long as it's marine compatible, I won't mind. And coming up to the bat is Vespiquen. A Vespiquen Mega Evolution, I feel, would incorporate a lot of its drones, and make it that much more regal looking, because it is a queen at the end of the day. Vespiquen Mega Evolution, as long as it's make it that much more greater in battle, like most Mega Evolutions, I won't see the harm in it, because I could also see Vespiquen not needing a Mega Evolution as well, but still, this cool looking Pokemon needs to have a little bit more to its belt, so why not add a Mega Evolution to it? Now we have Darkrai. And Darkrai is a Pokemon I love for simply being an emo goth hero of an edgelord. This nightmare-giving Pokemon is already impressive on its own. It's able to fight against two top-tier legendaries like Dialga and Palkia, who both control time and space. But of course, it can't really beat them on its own. But imagine if it had a Mega Evolution. Dudes and dudettes, that would be insane. Its Mega Evolution could probably boost up its nightmare-giving powers to its zenith, being able to just flash wave people into sleep and have them have terrible nightmares. But it would also gain that much more powerful, darker, dark-type moves, as well as maybe ghost-type moves, just to really hit hard in that scary, ominous look that it has. So comment down below how hyped you would be for a Mega Evolution Darkrai, as well as your thoughts on this, a Mega Evolution Toxicroak. Toxicroak, as given by the name, is already a deadly fighter. This is not a Pokemon you want to scrap with unless you're ready. But imagine this toxic Pokemon with a Mega Evolution. With bigger stingers on its hands, those poisonous jabs would hit like nothing ever before. Laying you out for the count, a Mega Evolution Toxicroak would definitely be on a lot of Pokemon fans' radar then. Now, getting close to the finish line, we have Rampardos. And this revived Pokemon is already a pretty cool Pokemon to have, but imagine if this impressive, strong, powerful fighting Pokemon, well, it's not really like a fighting type, but I'm just saying, like, an impressive combatant, had a Mega Evolution that made him that much more stronger, powerful, and even much harder hitter. A Mega Rampardos would definitely be a very special heavy hitter that any Pokemon trainer would love to have on his team. And last but not least, Togekiss. Togekiss is a fairy-type Pokemon that is very beautiful, elegant, and most of all, strong in battle. So strong, in fact, that the argument could be made that she might not warrant a Mega Evolution, but I'm giving it to her anyways. And just like with most flying Pokemon, I feel Togekiss Mega Evolution would just make her that much more of a spectacular flyer, allowing her to fly faster and hit that much harder from the sky, while also having the brilliant look she has be even more brilliant, be even more elegant and beautiful. So yeah, it would definitely be a charming Pokemon with an even more charming Mega Evolution. Pokemon Legends ZA, Episode 5 for Generation 5. And without further ado, let's get it with Haxorus. Haxorus is an epic looking Pokemon, fierce and honestly badass, but Haxorus always seemed like he was underutilized, and I feel like if I had a Haxorus, I would love if that Haxorus had a Mega Evolution that gave him more claws, more axes, and even tougher, more powerful dragon armor. Have this beast of a Pokemon who can already size up opponents like Charizard or Gyarados be even more intimidating with a bossy, tough Mega Evolution. And speaking of tough looking Pokemon, up next we have Dredigan, who doesn't have an evolutionary line, but with a Mega Evolution would give Dredigan trainers something to look forward to during their adventures with this specific dragon Pokemon. And I personally feel a Mega Evolution for Dredigan would make it look bigger, spikier, and definitely more savage looking, more like a vicious dragon than an oversized dragon looking weed. But no offense, I like Dredigan. And you know who's also a very strong Pokemon that I like just as much as Dredigan? Beartic. And I would be overly hyped if I found out Beartic was getting a Mega Evolution. With the same thought process for its Mega Evolution going behind it, with making it look bigger, tougher, while also simultaneously making it stronger and more durable for battles. And definitely increasing the max output of Ice-type power that this Pokemon can already insanely do well. And going a little bit back to dragons, because I almost forgot, Hydreigon would also be an awesome contender to gain a Mega Evolution. This ominous looking dragon dark type Pokemon already gives off an intimidating presence, but give it a Mega Evolution and you can definitely bet on its opponents forfeiting a match or a battle before it even launches a single attack. And what can you expect from its Mega Form? Definitely more heads, I bet. And with moving on, we have Genesect. Now Genesect is a artificial Pokemon, revived and modified for the modern day. With advanced weaponry and technology integrated into its body, it's definitely a living weapon of a Pokemon. Now imagine this oversized tank of an ant with a Mega Evolution. I imagine it gaining greater cannon power and flight abilities to match its new energy output, giving Genesect a whole new level of an intimidation factor. Up next we have Electros, the electric eel Pokemon, and simply put, I feel Electros is a really cool looking Pokemon with amazing electric type attacks. So given a Mega Evolution, not only would it boost the output of electrical power that Electros is able to discharge, but it would also simultaneously give Electros a even cooler looking form that would be more adept for the water and just be another addition to this already fun looking Pokemon. And after Electros, we have Chandelure. And Chandelure is always a fun looking ghost type Pokemon, but I also feel could, have a lot more done with it. So given a Mega Evolution, not only are you, giving it even more firepower when it comes to its ghostly fire attacks, but you are also giving it a more spooky factor if its Mega Evolution gives its ghost type look an even more creepy, scary looking form. And rounding up all the possible Mega Evolutions I want for Generation 5, we have Keldeo, the legendary pony Pokemon with the horn he uses as a sword. And when paired with the other 3 Sacred Sword using Pokemon, he always looked like the tiniest of the litter. But if given a Mega Evolution that increases his size, not just make him look even more regal and, intimidating, but also more bigger and stronger, then I feel this Mega Evolution would not only be a great fit for Keldeo, but would definitely be the trump card in his various later battles. Plus, I'm on the side of the Pokemon fan community of legendaries getting Mega Evolutions, so yeah, give more legendaries Mega Evolutions, please. Pokemon's Legends ZA, Mega Evolutions, Episode 6 for Generation 6. Okay, so we're starting off with Noivern. The bat with all that, I always dug Noivern's cool and edgy look. And I always figured, make it cooler, make it edgier, so give it a Mega Evolution. And have it be a straightforward, super intimidating look that also packs the extra boom in sound-based attacks. Moving on, we go to Auroras. And this beautiful and elegant looking Pokemon could be even more powerful and brilliant with its ice attacks if it was given Mega Evolution. Shimmering and glamorous like a diamond, it would definitely take trophies in Pokemon contests. Oh no, up next is Pangoro. And yeah, Pangoro looks tough and he's rough. Given a Mega Evolution, he'll just be good enough to take on even the most badass Pokemon out there. Giving him a little bit more weight, a little bit more size to get that intimidation factor he already has on a whole nother caliber. And speaking of big ass Pokemon, we go to Tyrantrum. Because Tyrantrum definitely looks like he could be a Digimon cosplaying as a Pokemon. He just looks that savage and cool looking, honestly speaking. And if I'm being more honest, imagine this boy with a Mega Evolution making him look like he just Digivolved. Because boy, I pray for the prey of this Mega Tyrantrum. They would not survive even a minute. And even though we didn't start with them, let's continue with the starters. Starting off with Greninja. And before any of y'all say, but he already has Ash Greninja. Shut your mouth, fool. Ash Greninja was a power between specifically Greninja and Satoshi, aka Ash. It wasn't something that Greninjas naturally have. And we gotta give a Pokemon as badass, as cool, as much of an edgelord and awesome and talented as Greninja is, a Mega Evolution, because he damn well deserves it. Having them dish out water attacks that will be up the nozzle like water ninjutsu from Naruto. Believe it. Next we have Chestnut. Now Chestnut, he is very regal looking in my opinion, but at the same time, he's never been a Pokemon that stood that out to me, but I would still like to have him have a Mega Evolution, because for the starters of this generation to not have Mega Evolutions, even though their generation was the start of Mega Evolution, that I always found that to be pretty bizarre. So even though I don't feel Chestnut very well warrants a Mega Evolution, he's still being the starter for, you know, the generation that has Mega. Just give him one, and also give Delphox one, who I feel warrants it more than Chestnut. Because if we're talking about blazing, if we're talking about hot, if we're talking about putting the spice on that pepper, Delphox is your Pokemon. With fiery attacks up the wazoo, this foxy Pokemon puts a spell on you and definitely makes you think it deserves a Mega Evolution. Just imagine the firepower backed behind elegance and efficiency. That would definitely be the definition for a Mega Delphox. And to finish up this list, we have the two legendary, with the first being Xerneas. Because bro, giving Xerneas a Mega Evolution, giving Xerneas just time to do anything. I always felt like those two legendaries for X and Y never really had too much to do in the anime, and was always seen to be like left out when all the legendaries got together and was doing stuff. So I was just like, give Xerneas more action, more stuff to do. And I feel giving it a Mega Evolution, especially since they're the two legendaries for the generation that, you know, came up with the idea of Mega Evolutions. Yeah, it would only feel right, and it would be awesome and give Xerneas more stuff to do. Same with its legendary partner slash, I guess, enemy, Vetol. Because that highly ominous, intimidating, deadly Pokemon of destruction would just be that much more awesome and powerful, and even more of a destructive force if it had a Mega Evolution, if you know what I'm talking about. Because I'm just an insane guy who wants more threats in Pokemon, if you could believe it. And just the idea of the unparalleled destruction that could be caused by a Mega Vetol Bro, it got me shivering. It got my spine tingling. Make it happen. Pokemon's Legend ZA Mega Evolutions, Episode 7 for Generation 7. Starting off with a goodie, Golisopod, because this Pokemon is hardcore. I really love its brutal attacks done on its opponents, how its shell allows it to take even the hardest of hits and impact. And especially how he can dish those attacks back, but even harder. Golisopod is a champion, and giving this champion a Mega Evolution, whew, now that would be fire. But I think they're too afraid to give Golisopod an even more insane power-up, because I think that would just make him unstoppable. But, you know, that's just me. Golisopod is a hard bashing fighter, and it's just like, yeah, give this incredibly fierce warrior a Mega Evolution, and yeah, we got something to talk about there. And I can see his Mega Evolution making his shell even harder, you know, to breach or, you know, break, and making his claws even sharper to land more devastating attacks. And with that, we move on to number 2, Serena. This fine-looking Pokemon could be even finer to those who are into that. I'm just saying, this Pokemon has incredible kicking power, and I think a Mega Evolution could increase that kicking power exponentially. Not just giving a power increase, but a stylish boost as well. I could see Pokemon trainers utilizing a Mega Serena in Pokemon contests to not just dish out beautiful, elegant moves, but also dazzle the crowd and audience with how just fabulous the Pokemon looks in their Mega Evolution state. And on next is Mudsdale, and Mudsdale is that brown Bronco that with a Mega Evolution could really bring the heat. I could see Mudsdale's Mega Evolution making them part fire type, so they can really dish out some blazing attacks and just go running towards the enemy with just hot determination and just really look like a straight up threat to anyone who would dare try to like rumble with them. And moving on to number 4, we got Vigavolt, and Vigavolt is a really cool looking Pokemon. I ain't gonna lie, I really dig the style they set up for this Pokemon, and I think giving him a Mega Evolution would just make him look even more cool, like just straight up edgy, just straight up sharper, and being able to fly faster, dish out even greater amounts of voltage in his thunderous move sets. I think Vigavolt could really be a really powerful electric Pokemon in a Mega Evolution state. But still be secondary to the next one on this list, Zorora. Because Zorora, I mean, compared to Lucario, I think that's a rival right there. Zorora looks badass, looks like an edgelord of a Pokemon, and it sucks that he doesn't have an evolutionary line, but give this like amazing looking Pokemon a Mega Evolution, and there you got him going Super Saiyan with the amount of thunderous power that could like erupt from him. I think it would be awesome to see Zorora in a Mega Evolution state, kind of like paying tribute to Dragon Ball with just more, you know, yellowish hair, just all spiky and stuff, like a Super Saiyan 3 type thing. Just, you know, doing like Dragon Ball like attacks the way Lucario does with his Aura Spheres, but with Zorora's version of a Thunderbolt, or, you know, his own unique attacks. It'd just be really awesome. But yeah, let's give Decidueye a Mega Evolution. Make him an even sharper shooting archer in his Mega Evolution state, giving him even bigger, more impressive wings to allow him to fly at greater speeds, and have his feathers be sharper, so when he like busts out a feather arrow, that thing is gonna pierce through any type of defense. As for Incineroar, given that Pokemon a Mega Evolution, I think you can make him an even more beastlier if that's even a word, Pokemon. You know, make him a more beastly Pokemon that has even greater firepower potential, that is able to just dish out just overheated attacks to just burn out his opponents. You know, maybe give him some fire constructs as like clothing, like, you know, the way he has the fire champion belt, he could have some like fire clothing, some fire chains. Who knows? There's just a lot of stuff you can do with this design for a Mega Incineroar. Just make sure he looks fierce and a champion as always. And lastly, a Mega Evolution for Primarina, I think would just make her look more beautiful and elegant than she already does. You know, dazzling. As Primarina is an entertainer, you want all eyes on her, and just being able to have her still come with the ferocity, but still be able to leave her opponents and the audience, if she's playing for a crowd, speechless and breathless in all the right ways. Pokemon's Legend ZA Mega Evolutions, Episode 8 for Generation 8. But without further ado, let's start off with Cinderace. Being a soccer player like Pokemon, this rabbit does have a flair for the dramatics. I really like his design and think it can definitely look more epic than it already does. So give it a Mega Evolution and yeah, we'll get into Digimon territory. And I'm also thinking you could give it a future form to make it look even more awesome and clean. And next up after Cinderace, we have Inteleon, who is a cool super spy of a Pokemon. And yeah, Inteleon already looks like he has the drip, you know, pun intended. So if you were to give this Pokemon a Mega Evolution, I feel it would just make him look that much cooler, as it would make him look that much more sleek and ready for action. Giving more emphasis on his glide wings, you would definitely have a Pokemon that's just drowning in badassery. Next up after Inteleon, we got Rillaboom. And I already loved this Pokemon's design when I first saw it. It didn't have to grow on me because he looks so much like Super Saiyan 3 Goku from Dragon Ball. And the fact that he has an instrument to bring the beat was the cherry on top for me. But I feel like you could make Rillaboom look that much more savage or that much more of a brute just by giving him a Mega Evolution. After Rillaboom, we got Corviknight. This dark bird Pokemon looks so much like an edgelord, which gives it a win in my book. But I feel that not much was done for Corviknight past it just being a means for transportation. I feel this Pokemon deserves a Mega Evolution to make it look that much more epic in battle. To have it have a lot more under its wings and make it look that much more lethal. But speaking of Skyborn threats, I would like to add on to this list Dragapult. Because Dragapult at first I thought looked goofy and was a pointless design, but it really grew on me and I love this Pokemon now. And I feel like it could have an even crazier wicked design by having it have a Mega Evolution that makes it look even more like a jet or a dragon or even a ghost. Either way, I would definitely dig it more if it was given a lot more to work with. And up next after him, we have Graplock, who I really like the design for, like a fighter Pokemon that's an octopus, that it makes so much sense that I feel like, yeah, we got to work on this even more, build on it even more by giving it a Mega Evolution. And I feel a Mega Evolution for Graplock would have it use like aqua tentacles, or maybe even allow it to fly and become even more dangerous if it grabs onto you. And after him, I got Orbeetle, who's a very strange but sweet looking Pokemon, especially with his design being modeled after like a UFO and stuff. So I thought it'd be awesome if his Mega Evolution made him look even more alien-like. Even though he is like an insect Pokemon, like a bug Pokemon, I still think the way they got this UFO thing working for him is very nice. And after him, we have the Rolodon, this steel dragon Pokemon that looks like a building, especially when it Gigantamaxes. This was also a Pokemon that had to grow on me, but the more I saw it, the more I couldn't resist admitting it looks pretty awesome, looks pretty dope. Though I still feel it could be a little bit more sleeker, so I feel like a Mega Evolution could help with that. Or maybe, change the shape around to give it more dynamic look. But following that Pokemon, I have Hatterene. And this wicked witchy Pokemon definitely put a spell on me, which is why I have her on the list of Pokemons that I want to see get a Mega Evolution. Something I feel that would make her look even creepier while boosting up her ghost and fairy-like attacks. Honestly, Hatterene is definitely a Pokemon that I feel deserves a Mega Evolution at this point. But at this point, I feel like a lot of Pokemon do, especially with this next one definitely being deserving of one. Grimmsnarl. This behemoth of a beastly Pokemon definitely brings the brutality at its best, with that crazy hair all over its body. So I would definitely imagine a Mega Evolution for Grimmsnarl increasing the amount of hair it does to do a lot more damage to its prey and enemies. And lastly on this list, we have Toxtricity. A very tough name to say, but a definitely awesome looking Pokemon to have. And its electric attacks goes wild, rocking hard while bringing on the beat. So I feel giving it a Mega Evolution would make it look even more like a shock star. To give it the max voltage to zap its opponents into absolute obliteration. Pokemon Mega Evolution Episode 9 for Generation 9. Welcome back, Kingdom, for the final time for our Pokemon Mega Evolution guessing journey. We have gone over 8 episodes worth of possible Mega Evolutions for Pokemons in the upcoming Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends ZA. And it was fun going through all the possible designs and possible Pokemon to get Mega Evolutions, but I feel like we've drawn out enough from what we can get from it, and just like Ash Ketchum, it's finally time to end this Pokemon Mega Evolution guessing journey. So without further ado, please press that like button if you're a Pokemon fan, and yeah, let's start off with the starters. First up, Skeledirge. Oh, BT dubs. All of the fantastic Pokemon evolution art that you're about to witness was created and presented by fantastic Pokemon artists whose work you can find throughout their various social media platforms and the internet. But yeah, Skeledirge, whatever possible Mega Evolution he could get would have to definitely be instrument related or at least bird related, but definitely would have to be flaming hot. Like, I would want to see more fire coming out of that crocodile, alligator, whatever, reptile. And yeah, just make him look fierce and ferocious. As for Quaquavel, I think Quaquavel would have to make his Mega Evolution look very festive, like he's like a Mardi Gras dancer, just more water feathers, more colors, just dazzling all who witness him in his Mega Evolution form. And Meowscarada would definitely look more, I guess, bright and vibrant like a flower because it is a plant type, and definitely more mysterious or more breathtaking when it comes to having a brilliant design because it is an entertainer in a sense. So it would definitely have to have a very striking look in its Mega Evolution form. Now moving on to the rest of Gen 9, we go on to Palma, which I feel like its Mega Evolution would have to be a bit more cuter than it already is, but carry a lot more intimidation. Like, make its paws a bit more bigger, like a boxing mitten, just so it could hit harder. That would definitely be a right fit for Palma, I think. Moving on to 2 dope Pokemons that I would love to see get a Mega Evolution, especially because they come from the same evolution line, but it's sort of a pick and choose type of thing where one goes down a darker path and one goes down a more heroic path, both Armarouge and Ceruledge. I feel like a Mega Evolution for both of them would just make them a bit more gallant since they both are based off of knights. I know one design kind of like made them go down like a centaur type design routes, and I feel like that would be really cool for their Mega Evolutions. Either way, I would really want them to get, you know, a Mega Evolution just so they can like be even more cooler than they already are. Next up is a lesser Pokemon that I feel still packs a whole lot of shock, is Kilowattrel. I feel like giving Kilowattrel a Mega Evolution wouldn't really be much, which is why I don't really have much to say about it. But I feel like flying types don't really get much when it comes to Pokemon, and since Kilowattrel is a unique flying type since it's part electric type, it definitely deserves a Mega Evolution. It would probably give it a bit more girth, a place to store all of that electrical energy before it unleash it on its opponents. So yeah, give Kilowattrel a Mega Evolution. BT Dubs, like, it'd be funny if any of y'all decide to play a drinking game with this, with these video series where I'm saying Mega Evolution like a lot. I'm like, yo, take a drink each time I say a Mega Evolution. Like, you would probably be ridiculously drunk. And if you're doing that, then also press a like on this video. Next up is Tinkaton, because Tinkaton is very kawaii desune. Like, I really like the design for this little, Powerpuff of a Pokemon, and I feel like its Mega Evolution would probably be related to making its hammer a bit more mechanical. Maybe it turns into a mech. That would be really dope, and it's something I wouldn't expect, but it would be awesome to see and use in a Pokemon game. Or maybe the hammer just becomes a bit more bigger and a bit more fantastical. I don't know, but yeah, definitely Tinkaton would be on the list of Pokemons I would love to see get a Mega Evolution. Same on this list is Palafin, because Palafin is a very dope creative Pokemon where you just like combine a dolphin with a superhero. I did not see Palafin as a Pokemon coming into the Pokemon franchise, and they've done a lot of weird stuff, so that's how unpredictable Palafin was to me. But it would be dope if this already imaginative looking Pokemon were to gain a Mega Evolution to get an even more creative design, give it a watery cape and stuff. That would be very fun. And another fun looking Pokemon that would be even more fun to give a Mega Evolution to would be Orthworm, because something about Orthworm design is very creepy and ominous and downright not right, at least to me. But it is still goofy looking and, very playful-esque. So yeah, definitely give this weird, bizarre creature a Mega Evolution. I feel like it would make it look a bit more fierce looking and a bit more intimidating, like Onix or Steelix, or maybe make it look even more goofy. Who knows? But yeah, that would be extremely fun. Definitely give a lot of Pokemon fans something to look forward to if they're an Orthworm fan. But yeah, that was my list for all Gen 9 Pokemon that I would love to see get a Mega Evolution. If you agree, comment so below, as well as comment down Pokemon from Generation 9 that you would like to see get a Mega Evolution if I didn't name them. Also put your reason as to why. And yeah, ring that notification bell for more Pokemon related videos like this, so you know first when they drop, as well as it'll allow me to know that you would want me to make more like this. And yeah, click that like button, and yeah, follow, subscribe on all platforms, and share this video with, Pokemon fans. Thank you for watching all the way up till now, from episode 1 all the way to episode 9. And yeah, let's enjoy Pokemon Legends ZA when it comes out. But until the next Pokemon video, stay great.